At this pivotal time in humanity's evolution, we are beginning to remember our organic technology. A technology, when used correctly, can create an experience that the majority of the people the world over want to live. It is time to use this technology consciously for our own benefit and healing, and no longer unconsciously for our own demise. We are divine creators, creating both our own personal experience and our collective experience moment to moment. We invite you to join us as we reawaken this technology through experiment and experience our powers to create and manifest. Become part of the 3%.
Okay, good morning, afternoon and evening, everyone, to this week's TCI show, and fingers crossed that we get through it. But I am recording just in case. So, how is everyone? Welcome to... Oh, who have we got? Brian, Bob, and Chris.
Hello, Lisa. Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the show.
We're good.
Everyone's good?
It has been brought to my attention that I laugh too much, so I'm going to be very serious this evening. Please.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, well,
everyone,
don't even try, Brian. That's the fakest thing I've ever heard.
See, you just lost.
Yeah, that lasted, didn't it?
Oh, that was a stretch, even doing that for 10 seconds.
Now, there's a couple of things to bring your attention to, and we're going to put them in the chat room. They are a couple of great videos that people have done. One of them, here it goes, in the chat room. I don't even know what to call it. What's it called? If you're not in the chat room and you want to look it up later, it's on YouTube, and it's called Parties On Opt-in Crew. And it's hysterical. We loved it. Thank you to who created that. Do you have a name for who created that? Brian?
Oh, sorry, I had to mute. There's a blender going on, or a garbage disposal in the
Someone
background.
named Priva1 TM.
Well, thank you.
Well, at least that's their YouTube. That's
Oh,
their
that's
YouTube moniker.
I'll find her name. She sent me an email about it today. Hold on one second. Continue.
Well, I just wanted to say congratulations to Priva. That was brilliantly done. Thank you. And the other one comes from... Where is it? I don't know the name. I know she's in one of the chat rooms that I'm in. I'm sorry. Eileen. Which is called Soul Hits Home, and it's just gorgeous. So that's also in the chat room. But you can find it on American Kabuki's blogspot.com website as well. When Soul Hits Home. Gorgeous. More examples of people's doing, which is just beautiful. So, welcome, everyone. Last week's show, if you've been looking for... Blog Talk has been pretty continually attacked for the last week or so. We've had issues with all of the shows that we broadcast on Blog Talk, not just the collective imagination. And as I said yesterday on the opt-in show, so have a lot of other platforms for alternative media broadcasting like TalkShoe and Shoutcast and whatever. But hopefully they've fixed it, because we seem to be so far so good. So, last call, not last week, the week before, I asked you if you cared to please share your stories on the Collective Imagination Facebook page of your experiences of this journey that we've been on through the course of this show. And oh my God, you guys had me crying, seriously. I was reading through some of these stories, and the thought just struck me that I am living the UV exchange, and I am one of the wealthiest people in the planet. Because what you give in return for the time and the energy we put into doing this is immeasurable. Mm-hmm. And thank you. Thank you. This show feels like home. Once a week I get to come home and really be with family, and I feel so blessed. So that's what I wanted to say. I am reading the stories, and I think we'll put them together and present them in some form or fashion, because they're just too beautiful, and they're a great way to chronicle a period in time during this transition from sort of August of last year to now, what a large number of people are going through and have been through, and the journey they're on, and you're all articulated yourselves so beautifully. I know I keep using that word, but I just think it's important to put it all together. I just think that would be great. And I don't know whether you three have gone and had a look at any of these stories, but they're just lovely.
No, and now I feel like I'm being completely left out of something, so I need to figure out where to go and find that.
If you go to the Facebook page for TCI and have a look at posts by others and go back over the last couple of weeks.
Posts by others. Okay, cool.
You'll see them.
Yeah, I got a couple of messages yesterday about the show. One of them from one of our friends who just said, it was, the word he used was inspiring.
Mm.
And the other message I got was directly to me, and it says, "So much love and gratitude for the show today. Just finished listening as my recently cable internet access was denied. Other computers in the house, so my son tapped in for me. I look forward to reading the Oath and Bond docs, which we'll talk a little bit about today too. My heart swells with a resounding yes to the future for the one people." So that was lovely to receive that.
One thing I did want to mention, because I didn't get a chance to read the stories on Facebook, and for any of you who have my Facebook account and have been sending me messages, if I don't get back to you immediately, I try to get back to everyone, but if I don't get back to you immediately, I'm not ignoring you. Please don't think that I am. It's just that I've got about 30 rooms in Skype that I'm trying to keep up on, and not to mention the emails, and sometimes it's just impossible. So don't stop sending the messages. It's just I may not be able to reply to all of them.
Oh, well, I have to echo that message. Especially ever since I started my blog, the amount of emails and comments and Facebook messages. I think I have 5 Gmail accounts. So I absolutely fuels me to read all the messages, and I'm so touched by so many of the amazing stories that come through. But unfortunately, I just can't respond to all of them. But keep sending them. I think that the message probably goes across the board from everybody, from all of us on here. We love you, everyone.
Absolutely.
And in the chat room.
Yeah, I mean, this is typical roller coaster ride. We have people who don't love us very much, apparently. We still love them, and more than offset by all the good vibes we get from the people who do get it, or who don't have some other agenda running. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, excuse me. Yesterday was a big day, or possibly yesterday, because of the Sirius film. I was one of those who paid the $10 to get 72 hours worth of access to it, and I watched it last night eventually. What did you think? And I'd love to hear if anybody happens to have been at the premiere, if you're in the chat room or if you're calling in. Would love to hear what it was like at the premiere itself. But who's seen it and what did you think?
I did see the film. Thanks to my little bro David and B. Weir. Thank you guys for sharing. But I did watch the video, and there was a lot of information in there, but none of it, aside from the 6-inch little guy that they found, most of it was information that I've already come across. But I thought they did a really good job in covering most of all of the bases. For people who haven't heard of the Disclosure Project, or they did a really, really good job at covering a lot of information in 2 hours.
Here's what I thought. I think the most exciting part of the Sirius release is the amount of hype that went into releasing it, the amount of exposure that it got in playing at the LA Live in Los Angeles. Anybody that's ever been to LA Live, that's where the Lakers play. and the place was booming. The whole place, it's like a mall shopping center that's all full of all sorts of stores, the theater, and the stadium where the Lakers as well as the Clippers play basketball. So that's what Thrive didn't have. I didn't find out about Thrive until after it was out, but so much hype and publicity went into the launch and the buzz in hyping up Sirius, and it's only going to roll over so much more considering the amount of energy and attention that has been brought to it. So I think that anybody that's seeing it for the first time that has not been exposed to all this information, it's going to be an excellent entry point and lead into self-exploration, and then seeing some of the bigger picture and doing some more of the research. So as far as being a launching pad, I thought it told the story in a real clear, easy, concise way with a much more production value than, say, something like self-produced, like the I Know My Galactic Family Is Here, Do You from the 2012 scenario, which is has a lot of dialogue and it shows a lot of UFO sightings, but it lacked the production value and history that the Disclosure Project brought to the table, and the CSETI-5 and all the work that they've done. So a culmination of all of Stephen Greer's work, that's for sure. So I think the most exciting thing is going to be to watch how it gains in popularity and momentum from here.
Just to mention, too, that Barbara is always working away in the background for us. Thank you so much. She just posted the Party On video in the TCI Facebook page as well. So if you can go there to have a look at it. What was I going to say? Yes, if their target audience is sort of the mainstream, unaware of these subjects audience, then it's a good film. If their target audience is those who already have knowledge in these areas, it probably didn't go far enough. But I guess it's like The Secret to me in that respect, you know. I mean, it could open a lot of eyes that wouldn't normally be looking in those areas.
Well, it's clearly pointed at, clearly targeted to bridge from the alternate media and those who view and absorb the alternate media right into mainstream. You know, they're actually wanting to bridge that point, and you know, that's the point where we're at too in our particular part of this whole exercise of freeing the planet, is starting to bridge into that mainstream thought, which is one of the reasons why there's, you know, the soap operas started up a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Not at our end, by the way. I saw one comment that there was a big soap opera going on between well, they said OPPT, which obviously doesn't exist, but the OPPT and Neil Keenan. Well, there's no soap opera actually going on over at our way here. It's all going on over there. And they're welcome to it. And I think we need to also to point anyone who wants a more blow-by-blow discussion of the commentaries that have been posted. Dee did a terrific job of responding to the things that annoyed her most. I think is probably the best way to put it on her blog. Mm-hmm. So if you want and I absolutely agree with everything she said, and I'm pretty sure everyone else here on the panel does too. And you could go a lot further, but we don't want to pay energy into that whole soap opera.
Yeah, so anything that's going to be said has been said. I said what I'm going to say. The only energy I'm going to pay into it, I said on yesterday's show. Dee's done the same on her blog. And for more details, you can go to American Kabuki's blog if you really want to, you know, watch each episode of this particular.
Yeah. Getting back to the Sirius, the movie, I actually haven't seen it yet. Getting back to the Sirius soap opera, I haven't actually seen it yet. I just haven't had an hour and a half to jam into my day. But I'll get to it in the next day or two. But I'm pretty sure that I will have seen most of it and know about most of it because I've been down that rabbit hole like a lot of people on this call. But what I'm looking for is something I can handball to say to my cousin who's, you know, in serious need of a bit of a wake-up call. And needs to view it.
See, I think that's what it's going to be perfect for. Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be perfect for, Chris. Because do all of us and everybody listening to this call that are awake and aware to? I mean, it's the fact that we have family from the new guys. The new guys exist. we don't need any more convincing. It's already fact. It's already common knowledge. It's the people that still need the convincing. I think that the content will be perfect to kind of bridge the way into a kind of, it's not really a baby soft step into it, but it's just a really clear, concise approach showing, I mean, really I think the biggest impact out of all that for me, looking at it, trying to look at it from the perspective of somebody that might be brand new to that information, is the amount of whistleblowers that the Disclosure Project has corralled up, in being over 200. And we're talking generals and really high up-ranking military officials and all sorts of scientists. The fact that he has got all of them to speak out. I mean, it wasn't all that long ago in our history, 20, 30 years ago, where if anybody would have spoke out like that, they'd have to watch their back and they might end up, in a hole in 6 feet underground. But the power comes in the numbers of so many people coming out that, they realize that, they can't take out everybody. And and I think that they the whistleblowers that were really hesitant a few years back have found a way to come out comfortably and share what they know without having to worry about the lives of themselves or their families. So kudos to Stephen Greer for creating that space.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the most salient points about the whole video was the credibility of the presenters. You didn't have, some backwater farmer girl with curlers in her head. I saw something in the sky. I don't know what it was.
I've seen it.
I see the light. I'm sorry, not to make.
You do that a little too well, Bob.
Oh, I live in the backwater. So.
Okay. Yeah, I just also wanted to point out that there's another Disclosure press conference happening at the end of the month. And I can't remember whether it's being staged by Stephen Greer or by the Paradigm Research Group, but it's a bigger version of the 2001 that Stephen Greer and his group did host, and it's going to go for a lot longer. And I think you'll find a lot of the people who were contributing to the Sirius movie will probably be appearing personally there as well. So there's a follow-up action to this, which is aimed directly at the press and at the Washington crowd, and well worth keeping an eye on as well.
Now, when it came to the little guy, I didn't quite get what the conclusion was. That it was human. However, there was so much data that was put aside in the junk pile that didn't match anything else.
Actually, Lisa, at the close of when the Sirius video was finished filming, there was actually a subsequent report of the DNA that came out afterwards, and there's YouTube videos that you can find on that. I think when they stopped filming, it didn't get added to the main feature, but those sequences of DNA that they did talk about that were have no known earthly origin. Conclusively have no known in any of the genome databases that they have of life on this planet. There's no.
So what is that? So that means it is human, and it has
no. It means it's humanoid. Human and human and humanoid. You can have all sorts of beings that aren't from planet Earth that can be humanoid, but it doesn't mean they're human beings of this Earth. So it had some structures of humanoid DNA, because if you trace it back to the story of, the human civilization, the human races were seeded from galactic civilizations, from all over the galaxies. Well, then it would totally make sense that there'd be a lot of similarities and commonalities.
Yeah, I should say earthling.
In our DNA
I just said
structure.
human.
Human, yes, humanoid.
Sorry, Earthlings. My daughter made me watch Earthlings as well. Oh my God.
I am an Earthling.
No, that's a whole other film. It's very disturbing.
Oh,
yeah.
The raw food film.
Well, yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that was serious, and that was. I mean, now that that's out there, and as you said, Chris, there's another conference coming up. We've also got Julian sharing, and sorry, there's a lot of noise in the background, whoever that is, and
Brian.
I'm muted. Stop yelling at me.
Really? Well, it's your name that's flaring up every time the noise comes. We've got, Julian and some others around him who are being a bit more public about their communications with, you don't want to call them non-locals. What do you want to call them?
I like new guys. Myself.
New guys?
The new guys, yep.
Someone suggested Starkin, but if you say it too fast, it's Starkin. So I don't know if that works.
Well, you guys already vetoed new kids on the block, so.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
I like the name Stellan, our Stellan family.
Oh, who uses that?
I heard it somewhere. It's not original, so it's not.
Yeah, no, there's a guy on YouTube he's the first one I heard about using that word, Stellan.
Well, we know who we're talking about.
Yeah, off-world families.
Mm-hmm.
As Unbridled Spirit just wrote in the chat room.
We should ask Julian what they prefer to be called.
Well, that's probably a good idea.
I did ask him that, and he actually said, I recall the answer was people.
That's original. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
People know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. But we can ask him again, and just to clarify that. But it's if you meet someone new and you're not sure what to call them, you ask them usually, and I think it's a polite thing to do.
Now, guys, also of the last couple of weeks, there's been some events clearly that are causing a lot of fear and anxiety, which I'm sure they were designed to do. And later on, I think there's been a general consensus that meditations are best left to the end of the show because we all end up a little bit, away with the pixies afterwards. We do want to do a meditation towards the end of the show. With a focus of, what did you say before, Bob? I said to sort of neutralize the energy that's been generated around these incidences. But Bob put it another way. How did you put it? Hello, Bobby. You have to unmute.
Muted.
Sorry. Yeah, not to focus on the false flag aspect, but focus on the opposite, the truth and transparency, to become blatantly apparent that these false flag things. I used to look at the news. I used to watch it periodically and turn it on just to see what they were saying. I don't even watch it anymore. And the little clips that people send to me to watch, I usually end up just kind of laughing at because, I just look at, bullshit. My bullshit meter has really, really gotten tuned. Thank you, Dee.
Well, that's because you've been given so many opportunities to tune it.
Yes. Well, I think we should do a meditation. You know what? Honestly, if the media would do its proper job, there would be no false flag.
No, of course not. But wouldn't last 5 minutes. And it doesn't in the alternative media world. They're on it very quickly.
In 10 minutes, they're tearing apart.
Interesting to note that there's bridging across to the mainstream media now as well. I was watching a YouTube earlier this morning, which was from C-SPAN.
Oh, and I posted that on the blog, actually.
Yeah, and people calling into C-SPAN, saying, this is a false flag operation. And that's going out to air, so...
What was the response from C-SPAN?
Oh, it's funny. They jump from caller to caller.
Next caller, please. So like that the question, but it's aired. It's aired. The question's out there. It's like that YouTube video of the guy asking the FBI agent about the announcements that people heard. Oh, don't be alarmed. There's going to be a bomb drill. Don't be alarmed. There's going to be a bomb drill, or words to that effect, before the actual explosion. And he didn't. He just turned away and said, "Next question, please."
Yep. It's 6 minutes of that too, and it's like caller after caller after caller. I'll post the link in the chat room. There's also a video of the Boston commissioner on mainstream news, and he refers to the bombers as actors, and he corrects himself. These two actors.
I saw one this morning. Yeah.
So
Oops.
I have.
Oops. Love it.
He should have just stuck with actors, and people probably wouldn't have noticed. But the fact that he corrected himself was a pretty big tell.
One of the interesting
Do you think
things.
he might have done it on purpose?
Looked like an accident to me.
I'm sure he's been chastised for it. But it's interesting that Heather's been saying for a while now that the only thing that can come out now is absolute data, is truth. So there's going to be slip-ups and gaffes and people noticing stuff all over the shop. I did note that there were some people talking about the videos they'd seen of the explosion of the fertilizer plant down near Waco, Texas, and saying they felt they could actually hear an incoming missile in the video's soundtrack. Pause for thought, folks.
Can you say that again?
That on some of the videos, people who've listened to them carefully, who claim they know what these things sound like, say they can hear an incoming missile.
Oh.
Okay, so fire at the plant, okay, but if you pop an air-to-ground missile in there, you get a really big bang. And okay, if it was an accident, it was an accident. But if they've done that, then they're just the murderers that we actually think they are, or some of them are. So jury's out on that one too. Someone in the chat room
just said that somebody did a frame by frame and proved that it's a missile.
Yes, there you go. Thank you. So we're surrounded by false flag action, and very, very interesting to note that the flare-up with Keenan getting all upset about the OPPT coincides with all this other stuff. It seems to just been a tremendous ramp-up of activity in the last couple of weeks. They appear like they are conditioning the US for these instant lockdowns of large populations of people for their own safety, making up stories and doing false flag events. So ramping up. So we need to do this meditation and actually offset all of that nonsense, and it is nonsense.
Well, the biggest thing that people can do in their everyday lives is not buy into all the fear. I mean, their goal is fear-mongering, and when people are afraid and they get freaked out by this kind of thing, no matter how heinous it is, it plays into the energy that they're trying to create. And so it's best to just not buy into any of it. Send the whole area light and love, and just let the whole thing be. Understanding that these events are the types of things that draw attention to themselves and really raise awareness that there's something going on. So it's you can see through the blinders that there's a big higher purpose playing itself out, even through these heinous events that are transpiring that are really hard to understand in the moment that it's happening. So don't buy into it.
Precisely.
Keep giggling and use that as a background track to send out to do a meditation too, or something.
I think if someone had time and actually went through all the shows that Brian's been on, they would get about an hour of straight giggling that never repeated itself.
I'm supposed to be serious tonight, so...
The ultimate laugh track. The ultimate laugh track.
All right, that's funny.
And then there was silence.
And then there was silence. We're waiting. Has Lisa muted or dropped off? So she's gone very quiet.
Catching up on the chat room here.
Hello, Lisa.
I have a train. She's got a train.
Oh, she's got a train. Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes, she does. Okay. Yeah. No need to share the train. So we were talking about the meditation. My distinct impression is that they're trying very hard to generate fear the way they always have done, but the formula's not working like it used to. And one of the reasons is there's so many people awake now. And we have a real effect when we put our intention towards dispelling that fear. So we just need to keep doing it, because we're winning as far as I can see.
Well, you know what I think? I think they reach a fear saturation point where you just can't be afraid anymore. I mean, like, if you watch the news and North Korea, Syria, Libya, this and that, blah, 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 and they pile it all on top, after a while, it becomes meaningless. It's just a whole bunch of, oh, yeah, okay, what else is new? There's an asteroid about to hit the United States, and, okay, yeah, all right, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. And the thing is, it's become evident to me that people in the street are very, very, very open to suggestions that, there's something wrong with the world. Did I actually tell that story about my haircut?
No, but it sounds exciting. I would love to hear it.
It sounds fascinating, though.
Okay, folks, I haven't got much left, right? Okay, no hair jokes. No hair jokes. You've all seen the picture. So I had a haircut last week, and I went down there hoping that my favourite barber would be available, because it's one of these four-man shops, and you get in the queue and you get whoever's there, and that's just the way it works. For two reasons. One, he cuts hair really well, and the other is that over a period of a couple of years, I've been talking to him on and off about all the stuff that's going on, just in bits and pieces.
Sorry, right? Diane in the shop, in the chat room wrote, 2 guys came into a barber shop, lol.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like that. But what happened was I actually walked in the shop, and there was one other customer having his hair cut, and my favourite barber sitting there with his head on his hands looking at the laptop that they keep on the desk. So I jump in the chair and he starts cutting, and of course we start chatting. And he said to me, "What did you think of that Boston stuff?" And practically before I could open my mouth, the guy sitting next to me fired up and started to give all of us a download about how it was a load of crap and don't believe it. There's all this crap going on, and I'm sitting there thinking, yes, finally it's happening to me. Someone's trying to give me a download, completely unasked for. So we had the obvious conversation proceeded, and I got a good haircut and a real blast, because that's never happened to me before. Okay, you go out into public, and it's usually you putting stuff out to them, and all of a sudden it was coming back, and it just showed me that people really are waking up. So, anyone out there who's thinking it will never end. Mm-hmm.
I think it's just an increase in conspiracy theorists, as I said in my blog post.
Yes. Well, when everybody's a conspiracy theorist, then nobody's a conspiracy theorist. Speaking of waking up, and this is going completely off track and changing subjects, but I don't think I've shared it before, at least not on air. I had a dream. And in my dream, I'm standing behind my 5-year-old, and Heather's standing next to me. And in front of her, she's got this, like a clear perspex screen, or almost like a desk. And it's lit up from within. I was watching Iron Man last night, and you know how Iron Man's got all these really cool electronics and screens and things that just pop out of nowhere? It was kind of like that. And we were teaching her, Heather and I were teaching her how to inject into physicality, inject into 3D, right? And she wanted to put, I know I've told you guys this, but she wanted to put bugs everywhere. And she was putting grasshoppers and baby ladybugs and critters, it's injecting them into 3D reality. And at one point, Heather and I went, yay, she did it. And as soon as we said that, I woke up by slapping my neck, because there was this tiny spider running across my neck, and I picked it up, and I've looked at what was left of it, because I slapped myself rather hard, and what was ringing in my head was, "Yay, she did it!" And I went, "Oh my God, did that just happen?" It was intense, and I told her when she woke up. I said, "Did you have any dreams last night?" And she couldn't remember anything. And I said, I had one, and I told her about it. So for the next sort of 2 or 3 days, she was telling everybody that Mummy and Heather taught her how to, put spiders on Mummy's neck.
But you know what, Lisa, though? I think that is part of what is really happening. Our dreams, the world that we enter into our dreams, I think, is more of the reality that we're moving into than where we are right now. And I think elements of our dreams are going to start to spill over into our reality and eventually take over this reality. Because I don't usually remember all of my dreams. Once in a while I'll have one that just kind of, one way out there. It just doesn't even feel like a dream. But I have the sense that we've been doing a lot of work, just like you said, in teaching how to manifest in this reality. I have the sense that we've been working, practicing, we've been manifesting, and sometimes individually, sometimes collectively, sometimes in large groups. I have the sense that we've been engaged in meetings and negotiations, and not recently. I think in about the last week and a half that's kind of completely stopped. But I do still have the sense in our dream time that we've been practicing. We've been training, we've been working, and all that information is there, somewhere in our consciousness. And at some point, I think that barrier that's keeping that from our consciousness is going to be removed. And all of that training and all of that practical stuff that we've been doing in our dream time will start doing here.
Mm-hmm. My Dreamtime activities since all of this began with you guys, with Heather and Dee and AK, have been unbelievable. I was waking up night after night after night, right through January and February, literally walking out of a room, and it felt like the war room at the Pentagon or something like that. It was that intense. Knowing that I'd been in meetings with you guys, and I would walk out of the room with my arms full of files and folders, and I was usually walking out with Heather next to me, Dee and Brian and AK behind me, and then more people behind that. And it was as if you had been, or I had been, in the most intense negotiations for hours. Mm-hmm. And I would, as I walked out of the doorway, I would wake up. And things like that went on night after night after night.
What's interesting about that too is how many nights that our dreams have. We found out from later talking how they've corroborated with one another. Yeah. Like whoa, yeah, wait, what was it that you felt? And it's kind of like, and then someone will say, oh my God, it was almost the exact same kind of dream. And when two people have the same dream, gosh, you can't really explain that. You just really can't explain it. Should we tell everybody how we just all recently got together and ate psychedelic mushrooms, or should we say that for another day? Just kidding. But
don't even kid, because stuff like that goes out, and next thing you know.
Sorry,
somebody will twist it.
I would have never done that on the show last night, but this is a collective imagination show.
There is actually an experience that I had many years ago, and I've shared this on radio before a long time ago, but it sort of ties in all the subjects that we've covered so far. I'd just moved into a share house, and there was a young guy living in the house, and we had bedrooms up the opposite ends, and it was a rather large old Victorian place, so it had a long hallway. And in my dream, I'm in the back. My bedroom was near the back door. His was near the front door. I get up out of bed. I float up out of bed. I see him float past my doorway. I go out. I float out my window. He floats out the door. We meet in the backyard, and then we both shoot up into the sky, into the night sky. And then I'm flying next to a UFO, and I put my hand out, and I'm touching it, right on the edges of the UFO, and I'm flying along next to it. And the next day, I woke up, I had full memory of this dream. I went into the kitchen, and there he was, and he's got this strange look on his face, and I said, what? And he said, I had the weirdest dream last night. And I said, yeah, me too, you were in it. He said, yeah, you were in mine. And at the same time, we kind of said, we met in the backyard, and I looked at him, and we confirmed we had the exact same experience.
Whoa.
And I didn't know this guy very well. I mean, we'd only known each other. Well, we'd known each other for quite a while, but we'd only been living in this house together for about 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, and there's a reason. There's definitely a reason to why some dreams you have are so vivid and you remember it. Like, I could tell you a few dreams that I've had where I remember them as if they were events that actually happened in my wake state. And there's a reason. There's messages. That are embedded within those dreams that caused you to have such conscious memory, because there's something to be taken away from it. But it's always a mystery as to what that is. Sometimes you don't figure it out until many years later.
Actually, I have a question I want to put out there, and if Julian's listening, maybe he can answer it, or somebody else who knows about these things. A girlfriend of mine was sharing with me only a week ago something that happened to her about a year ago. And I had a theory around what it might have been, but she was giving up smoking at the time and was pretty much losing her mind. She really was. I've never seen anybody have such a hard time giving up cigarettes. And she woke up from a dream of running somebody over and driving off. And it was so vivid and so real that she actually thought she'd done it. And that maybe the experience was so horrific she'd wiped it from her mind, and for 3 or 4 weeks she literally tormented herself wondering whether or not this actually happened, and was almost convinced it had happened. Why hadn't the cops must be going to rock up? And she went out and looked at her car to see if there was any marks on her car. It was so real. She actually thought she was losing her mind, that this event had happened, but she was blocking it, and it was trying to come through. And the only thing, one of the things I thought of was in the conversations that we've had with Julian, he talks about our greater being. He calls it a shard, like we're an aspect or a shard of our greater being, but our greater being can have many shards or aspects currently living on the planet, so to speak. And I thought maybe what she did was one of the other shards had that experience, and it was so traumatic for that shard that it was then shared amongst all of them. That was a theory I had.
Well, you've had other experiences where you think you've experienced stuff that other parts of you are experiencing.
I have, and that's what led me to that conclusion. There have been, just moments in your life where I've been doing something, and it's usually something really mundane, like the dishes or making the bed, and for a second my environment changes, and I'm doing the same action in a different environment, in a different body. And what I thought at that point was that I was perhaps myself and one of the other shards of my greater being were doing the same action at that moment. So we sort of tuned into one another. To the point, this almost makes me laugh, and I feel highly embarrassed even saying it, but even to the point where once I was in the bath and had a moment where I felt my penis floating up over the water. And I don't have one, people. I actually do not have one, so don't let that get twisted.
That would have been very, very interesting experience for you.
Talk about transparency.
Yeah, that can't get much more transparent than that.
Oh, that's funny.
Maybe that's what happened with her, but I'd love to hear from somebody who might have more insight into that. Anyway, we actually do have quite a few people with calls, and
just before we go to the calls, I just remembered that Julian asked us to let everybody know that Stephen Greer is going to be on Coast to Coast radio show tonight, if they're Coast to Coast listeners. For that, where he'll no doubt talk about the whatever happened at the theatre in Los Angeles last night. It could be quite interesting.
Oh, Peter Van Rad in the chat room just said, I wonder what Freud would say. He'd have a field day, I'm sure.
Past life memory, that's for sure.
Well, Lisa and her people, definitely Cabal.
Yeah, that's it.
Add that to the list.
Shapeshifter.
Or a sex change or something. I don't know.
So you've got a very long moniker now. What was it? There's CGI, Dominatrix, Shapeshifting, Cabal, Illuminati. Gee, you're going to need very large pieces of paper to write out all your qualification on.
Reptilian housewife.
Reptilian, yep.
Yeah, and hybrid reptilian. I don't know what that, but yeah, that was in there too somewhere. All right, guys, let's take a call. Area code 804. Hello, 804?
804?
It's not bringing you up. Oh, we did have this issue once before, didn't we?
You want me to try?
Yeah, can you try? Oh, hang on. No,
I got it. 804, are you there?
$804.
Maybe he's just not answering. You want to try another one?
Try another one. Area code 612.
There you go.
Hello, Elizabeth, Minnesota. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hey, Elizabeth.
We're good.
Hey,
How are you?
I just wanted to add a little bit. I'm fine. I'm tired, but I'm good. Okay, I want to add just a little bit more to the citizen hearing coming up. Because, okay, if everybody remembers, I just have this knowing inside of me, a real big knowing, I don't know why, that this is going to be a big thing, this citizens hearing coming up. And I know Heather mentioned it either on her very first phone call with Brian or the second one. She mentioned, and this was back in December, January, that there's a UFO disclosure thing coming up. But anyway, I just want to tell everybody the website is citizenhearing.org, citizenhearing.org, and it is going to be webcast. If you hit the CHD webcast tab on the top, you can sign up for different languages. There's like 5 different languages. For $3.80, you can listen to it live streaming for the whole week, which is Monday through Friday, the 29th of April to the 3rd of May. Right? Yeah, April, May.
Mm-hmm.
And during the day, it's going to be all day long, starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, 8:30 in the morning. They're going to have like 2 different panels talking for 90 minutes, 3 or 4 during the day. They're going to take a break for lunch, and then a break for supper, and then from 7 to 9, there'll be a witness that will testify in front of retired congressmen and like that. There's military going to be there, retired congressmen, lieutenants, colonels, and not just from America, but from all around the world. And you can see that on this website. It's going to be awesome, you guys.
Awesome.
So I just wanted to bring that in. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that.
And,
is it being done by just the Citizen Hearing Foundation? That's the only group. Oh, hang on.
You mentioned.
The Paradigm Group. I can see a quote here from Stephen Bassett on the front, who is I think he's director of the Paradigm Research Group. But it looks like a different organisation. In fact, well, it doesn't matter who it is. It's only a detail. But a lot of people, that disclosure project from 2001 was their wake-up call. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I think it'll have a really big impact.
Yeah, and also they're going to make a documentary out of this hearing. They hired filmmakers to make a documentary, and also for the Sirius movie, another big thing for that is they're going around mainstream Hollywood, and you can be like a distributor of the movie, and you distribute the movie, and anyway, it's going to go really fast around the world, that Sirius movie. It already is. But also the media coverage on the citizens hearing, I just looked on the website. There's 26 different media places. Washington Post, one in Alaska, one in the UK. Some of them already put things on their local news about this citizens hearing, and some are scheduled for March and February to put out big stories. They're probably going to do some half-an-hour story on it. And that's
Very
amazing,
cool.
huh, guys? Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, that's what we need. Just keep pounding away.
Yeah. And then one more thing I just want to say. I'm Irish, too. So I want to thank Neil Keenan for exposing his self the other day at malarkey. Neil Keenan, we love you. But it's malarkey. I'm telling you, I've been here since day one. There's a lot of people, One People's Public Trust, and we know what's going on. So Anyway, we love you, Neil Keenan and others behind him. But please search your hearts. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much.
For whatever reason, when she said Neil Keenan exposed himself, I thought of Lisa and her penis in the bathtub. Sorry, just saying.
I gotta regret sharing that story.
You know what?
Yep.
Dad, Lisa,
Wow.
somebody's gonna make a video about it next week.
I'm not going putting on people's heads, please.
It won't be on YouTube. It'll be on one of those other tubes.
Okay, enough said.
Enough.
Elizabeth.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Bye, Elizabeth.
Sorry.
Mm.
Area code 347.
Peace, love, and blessings. It is I, the Flow. How's everyone?
Oh, the Flow.
No, Flu.
The Flow got a cameo.
Did you see you're featured in that party DVD? Shoot?
Did you not see that yet?
It's kind of hard to hear right now. I don't have my headphones in. Hold on 1 second. Hello?
That was funny.
Yeah.
You're featured as well.
Wow.
Toward the end, yeah.
Go with the flow.
Yes. I'm just, I was a little bit, how you say, I could say upset because I didn't get what I was looking for from the movie last night, of course. Like you guys were saying, though, it's for people who haven't been abreast to this information. It's like, we do our digging all day, every day, so of course we're going to be in the know. So it's like, it should have been no surprise to me. So all day I've just been, thinking about, moving forward. And wow, my girl Liz just now from Minnesota, wow, she is a very... very awesome person. She always drops a bombshell on my head every time I talk to her. She just came in the room just now and gave more than more than most people can chew just now. So that's what I'm looking forward to now. I suppose you can say these next steps that keep happening. It's always a build up to some point, and then it's like, okay, now you got to wait longer for some more stuff to happen. So it's like, I'm relaxed and I'm not building with this tension anymore. It's like, this anticipation and eagerness. It's wonderful, though. It's so great. It allows me to, to grasp onto these wonderful ideas. It's so amazing.
One of the most important aspects I've found about manifestation is living with the tension. You need to be able to get into that space in between and be comfortable with it. That, for me anyway. That space between where you are and what you want, there's this tension that builds. And the more that you can be in a comfortable, relaxed, unexpected space in there, the quicker the manifestation happens and the bigger and better it happens. That's been my experience. So at the moment...
The path of least resistance.
Yeah, and at the moment we are in a huge space of tension between the old world and the new world. So this isn't just a personal thing, it's like the whole collective has to get comfortable with that space. That's what I'm feeling at the moment. The collective is trying to find the path of least resistance, as you said, I guess, of living with the tension.
Yep.
Usually how I move into that space, I party. I'm sorry. I party, and however that may be for you, get a couple drinks, even when it seems the most inappropriate time to party, usually that's the best time to throw a party. Because when you're having fun, you're not thinking about your problems. Yep. You're not thinking about, where you want to be tomorrow or where you were yesterday. When you're having fun, you are right here in the now, and it just kind of takes care of itself. If you're not having fun, then you're
out of the flow.
You miss part of the equation, because fun is definitely in there.
Yes. Follow your highest excitement. Follow your joy. Think about if everybody in the world follows their joy and their excitement. Some people, I've had this conversation a lot over the past couple of weeks, and some people say, well, I have no idea what I want to do. So you have to really take a step back from the idea of what you want to do that you need to do to be able to earn money, and start thinking about what you want to do that brings joy into your life, and then use that as a catalyst to where it will ultimately take you.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
Agreed.
that emotion of joy is what actually connects you. It's the conclusion I've come to. And you can give it other names. You can give it love. You can give it ecstasy. You can give it bliss. Whatever term you want to use. It's that human emotion that really opens up your heart, and there is where the manifestation takes place.
I have a quick thing I could read that could be really powerful. We could wait until after we're done with the flow, if you want. It's about manifestation, but this is probably pretty relevant here. You want me to just read it real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Yes, I would definitely love to hear that, guys.
All right, my man. All right,
everything you guys always do for me, and I just want to say I love you. Take care. Peace.
All right, Flo. This is for you, brother. All you need to get started is that something you identified that you would like to create. What is one thing that is not showing up in your life that you want right now? For a moment, move away from this thing, from a close-up view, rising higher and higher above it, until you find yourself within a bird's-eye view. Breathe deeply. See this that you want to create. See this that you want to show up in your life. Are you in your head? If so, drop into your heart. Breathe deeply. Whenever we want something in our life, what we really want is the way we think it will make us feel. What feeling are you reaching for? What feeling are you desiring? If you already had this in your life, what would that feel like? What would you feel like? Allow your gaze to get soft or close your eyes. Sit with these questions. Rather than thinking of answers, allow whatever is there inside you to emerge. Notice what you notice. Remember everything you can about this place so that you can return here every day. What do you feel here? What do you see here? What do you sense here? What is going on around you, and who is showing up? Spend some time just being here in this place, looking at what you want to create and feeling what it will feel like to have it. Now give that feeling one word. Go with the first thing that comes to you. What is one thing you can do today to create that feeling for yourself? It doesn't have to be as big as what it's going to feel like when you have that thing you want to create in your life. Commit to doing that one thing today, and when you feel that feeling, notice it, amplify it, express gratitude for it. Tell the universe, this, yes, this, I love this, and then give me more. And then do it. That was powerful for me. I used that, and I thought, like, as we talked about on the show before, what's the feeling that I want? And you know that feeling when you help somebody that really needs it? Like, I drove up to the Bay Area to see my family this weekend, and we got off in LA got off the freeway in LA to use the restroom, and there was this guy standing there with the sign, and it's like, I need, to feed my family. One of those signs on a cardboard thing, and I didn't have any cash. My girlfriend Brittany had $2, and giving him this $2 like made his day. And I told him, I said there's a bright light at the end of the tunnel, my brother. You need to hang in there. And he said, I'm grateful for the money, but what I'm more grateful for is that you're nice to me. And I broke. I was like, oh my God, because this guy just gets peed on, every day, all day long, and all he wanted was just somebody to just be nice to him. And that feeling is what I think of when I read that statement. It's that feeling of helping others that brings me the most joy in my life. But that was powerful. I'm going to actually blog that so people can see it.
That's just so sad, to be honest.
Yeah.
Anyway. But I liked what you said before that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry, it took a little longer than I thought it was going to.
Oh, that was good, though. Thank you, Prince. I'll leave your mic open, man. You can stay there. But we'll bring out the next caller. Area code 727. Area code 727.
Still, yeah, there we go.
Hello. 727.
Hello.
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 I need to mute my computer because I'm on the phone and the computer. Can you hear me?
If you mute, that'll be better. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right, there we go. Yeah, thanks for taking the call. First off, want to acknowledge all of you all for the great work and service that you do. I had read somewhere that, and I believe it too, that at the time that we make our transition at the end of our incarnation, that we all have to stand in judgment and will be deemed, evaluated by one axiom, and that is, how many have you helped and how well? And in my opinion, all of you guys will be regarded at that point in time as having helped very many very well, because you're performing a service that is unparalleled and unequaled by bringing people to a point of evolution, advancement. You know, you're educating, you're bringing people upwards, and you're to be commended for that. And I applaud you personally, because as much difficulty as I tend to have from time to time following the verbiage and the wordage of all of this, it's the concept and it's the principle and the philosophy behind all of it that I attach to and that I am trained to and synchronize with mostly. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing that you're doing, and I encourage you to keep on doing it for humanity across the globe. The one thing that personally I wanted to address was with regards to something that occurred to me with regards to taxes, which is kind of a touchy subject because, you know, people say there's only two things that are inevitable, and that's death and taxes. And I was out of work for quite a period of time, 18 months or so I lived off of and supported my family with my retirement savings. And as a result of that, not only have to pay the taxes on them, but also 25% penalty on that for having utilized those funds prior to the designated age of retirement. So I intend to, at the time that I am contacted about, you owe us big dollars, to serve a courtesy notice to the, I guess, Treasury Department, Division of IRS or whatever. But, the thing that gives me, concern is the fact that, like I said, the only thing that's inevitable is death and taxes is what has brought down many a person before me, even Al Capone. And giving the status that the powers that were, what they're running up against, running out of funds and the ability to finance the control that they've held sway over the planet, and all of that drying up and the waggles are circling around them and it's closing down. It's kind of like a caged animal or an animal backed into a corner. They get ruthless and they get desperate and they fight. And if the only thing that's deemed and sanctioned as legal and proper and right, which is taxes, it's going to be the last thing that they're going to release and allow to slip between their fingers, and they will clamp down and they will fight with a level of viciousness because it's like you can't fight City Hall type of thing. Do you know, have there been many who have successfully been able to, serve courtesy notices or get a cease and desist from the government on the basis of courtesy notices for their taxes as a prior example of someone who's fought that fight before. That would give me a measure of, encouragement and undergirding support for the battle yet to be fought, because right now I just gave them an extension on the filings, even though you have to say this is how much I expect that I'll be owing you, but I can't give you any now. And then they'll be contacting me later. And then at that point in time, the fight begins. So, I was just wondering if you had any input along those lines.
Sorry, can I ask you your name, please?
Ben.
Ben. I want to thank you for the first part of your call. You brought tears to my eyes. Thank you. As to the second part of your call, I don't personally. On the oppt-in.com website, I know they've got a section there for stories in relation to people's responses and outcomes of courtesy notices. You could have a look there to see if anyone's dealt with the tax department as yet. If anybody listening has experience doing courtesy notices with the IRS, can you please go there, if you haven't already, and put your story up so that Ben can see it, and others. And that's all I've got, unfortunately. Bob and Brian, being in the US, may have heard of other stories.
Ben, I've heard equal stories of people who've had success and also people who've had the opposite happen. And I think a lot of times it depends, number one, on who you're dealing with, because some people are just belligerent no matter what, and also your approach. You don't want to look at this as though that you're going into a fight. That's not what you want, and it's not what they want, but go into it as though that, hey, look, I'm going to educate whoever it is that's sending me this, because obviously they must not know. And if you go into it with the idea of trying to educate, hey, look, this is what I've heard. Your lawyers would know better, about what's going on, but as far as I know, this is valid. Check it out. And you'll find that you'll engage yourself in a much different conversation than if you were to go there and say, hey, look, I'm not paying you and you're a crook. You'll have a completely different conversation. And most of the people that I've known, and this is pretty much consistent, most of the people that I know that have had success were the ones that did take a softer approach. They didn't go in as though that they were going to have a fight. They went in more with the idea of, like Chris says, the IED, the incidental educational device.
Yep. Improvised. Sorry. It's Daryl's term. I've got to get it right, or he'll tell me off.
And using a courtesy notice is not a guarantee that you're going to have success, but it is a guarantee that you're going to raise some eyebrows and open a couple eyes. And, regardless, either the debt's going to go away or it's still going to be there for you to deal with, but at least, what you don't want to do is not respond at all. Exactly. Because if you don't respond at all, you know what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
So if you don't have the money, right, and you don't want to pay into that system, then your alternative becomes quite limited if you're not going to send a courtesy notice. So, but I would say, go ahead, send a courtesy notice, but go into this with the right attitude that, look, I'm going to try and educate these people, and bring them up to speed with what's going on in the world. A lot of people know that think something's going on because they're getting laid off and they're getting decreases in their salaries. And I'm speaking directly to the IRS. Matter of fact, they've already had 5 days planned for shutdown because they can't afford to pay people for a full week. This is happening, and they don't know what's behind it. And now you have the opportunity to give them a little bit of insight of what's going on behind it. So that's the advice that I can give. Chris, maybe you have something more to add.
Well, I think you summed it up beautifully, actually, Bob. And the clarity here is that it's obviously an individual choice based on how you perceive your personal circumstances. And I think Bob's pretty much covered all bases. I dropped a note into Ken Bartle's chat to see if on the Forapack email address that he'd had any information about how people had gone with the IRS, and not at this stage, because he's basically answering technical queries for people mostly, and doing a fantastic job too, actually. Both Ken and Scott have been really taking the brunt of that, and been sending out an enormous amount of energy everybody's way, which we're really thankful for. But the intention with which you go in is key to the result you get. We had an incident that Lisa read out yesterday on the show of a gentleman who had a visit from a detective, which ended up being a very much an improvised educational experience for the detective, and will probably mean that not only for that gentleman, it was in a particular state, it will actually shift the attitude of the system inside that state, because he'll go back to his superiors with a whole lot of information, and that'll... Well, that's your train, Lisa.
That's my train, sorry.
No.
Oh, it's Brian's train, okay.
We all got trains.
I don't have a train, I feel left out. But, look, Ben, thank you very much for... as Lisa said, what you said at the start of the call, we really appreciate that. We don't, it's late nights, it's lots of conversations, it's trying to work out what's the best thing to do next for everybody. It's fantastic, but it's wearying, and it's really encouraging to get the positive feedback. But I love the thoughtfulness and the measured way that you're going about this, and I know you'll be just fine.
Yeah, I trust and believe, that it will ultimately be whatever the outcome is how it's supposed to be. And I do recognize that unlike going up against a bank or a corporation where the initial person who you interact with a courtesy notice, you're educating them, and they didn't realize any of this, and they're now being informed that they're being held liable and accountable, and then they want to kick it upstairs, and it's an education process along those lines. But when you're talking about, the U.S. government and the IRS and the Treasury Department, those people, even if they are brought to an understanding that, if you didn't know, now you know, you are personally held responsible and liable. And, go ask your superiors and ask your superiors to ask their superiors, because people up there do know. They aren't letting you know. And it's a different animal that you're going up against when you're talking about the government, again, as opposed to a bank or a corporation who you owe a debt to or whatever. However, it's like the David and the Goliath story. Just because, it is, this big bear, this big giant that you're going up against, does not mean that they will ultimately prevail and hold sway, because there's a higher power that is in control, and then things are in the works. There's an evolutionary process that is going on now where things will revolutionarily change, and I could very well be at the forefront of that, or I could very well succumb to this. But I appreciate your advice and your input. That it's the attitude that you go into this with, that I am sovereign and absolute within myself, and as a independent creation of prime, you don't necessarily hold sway over me and control me. I only have to answer myself and my God, and come what may. My only concern is it's not me in the battle by myself. I have a family of 5 that if I go down, everybody else is left. But it's an attitude, it's a mindset that you have to have courage, you have to have conviction that right will prevail in the long run. And you all's input has been very helpful, insightful. And what I said to you all before, you're fighting the good fight, and and as long as you stand on the side of right, you will be judged for that in the long run, and you're actually laying up your treasures in heaven, and keep on doing what you've been doing, because you're so far doing it right. No matter who tries to come up against you, that's how you know that you are actually fighting a good fight, is when they start coming at you and attacking you like they have just a recent. Take heart in knowing that you got to be doing something right to have attracted that level of attention to yourself, but just keep on doing what you've been doing. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
I appreciate that.
And
all right,
thanks, Ben.
Okay, bye-bye.
And just as we're in between calls here, I just wanted to restate what we stated yesterday, that the OPPT, closed was terminated, cancelled, finished on the 18th of March. What's left is the One People, and the One People are so much bigger than the group of people who are still manning the foreclosed corporations. There's just so much more energy that exists out there as a sum total of all of us, that we will prevail in the end. Okay, because this is our world, and at the moment, that energy is gathering.
Yeah, what? I just saw in the chat room that someone set up an OPPT meetup group for the Gold Coast in Queensland, and I just want to put it out there. That's a great website to go to if you're currently in an area where you're not getting together with others. Go to that website, see if there's one in your area, and if there isn't, start one. But also, for those of you who listen to this show on a regular basis, you could do the same. You could start a collective imagination meetup group in your area. Who knows? You might actually connect with people who aren't currently listening to this show, but you might bring them and introduce them to it. But just an opportunity to get together with other like-minded people. And it's really nice to do it face-to-face. I mean, we all talk, daily over Skype, and I've only actually met Chris once in person, and it's just so lovely to actually be together.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, actually.
It was weird.
It was kind of weird, but it didn't take us long to sort of recognize one another's energy, and actually it was just like being on the show and chatting with Lisa outside the show. And one day I might get to meet Brian or Bob or Dee. Hello, Dee.
One day, real soon, I imagine.
One day, real soon.
That would be
very,
great.
Very soon. Very, very, very,
oh,
very
there's Dee.
Hello, darling.
Oh, my love.
If I could say real quick, guys, I just want to.
That's a flow.
Sorry.
It really amazes me the way that we're all here. It's like we're all talking about these wonderful things, and we're bringing our 2 cents to the table, man, making $1. If 50 of us bring 2 cents, we get $1. So it's like we've got all of these wonderful ideas coming together, and I feel like the future holds so much for us. Like Ben was saying, we're in here, we're doing it, and those that want to resist us are only making us stronger. It's just so much that we're doing to help so many people that I can even close my eyes and see us in a big room together, just saying, you know what, we're giving the world back to us in a ribbon cutting ceremony on the top of some mountain somewhere where millions of people just came because we were saying we're going to do it together, and then instead the whole world came. It's ridiculous what I can see when I close my eyes. And I love you guys for allowing me to envision the future like this. It's so amazing.
Heck yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Flo. The Flow. Lisa, could I take a moment just to tell people about the Oath and Bond?
Yeah, sure. I think it's probably a good idea because you can share whatever you want to share about it and preempt any, shall I say, bullshit.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans. So you can preempt it by just reading it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The original UCC filings really had two areas where people were, asked to put their hands up and throw in and actually make it happen. And one was the military enforcement. And through the actions of Swiss Indo, that may come about. We'll see where that goes. We're working hard on following that through. The other area is in the CVAC systems and the people that are required to make all that work when they start to actually come online in whatever form we decide that they will come online in, because in the end it is up to us. So there's two oaths and bonds here. There's one for a public servant to the one people, and one for the military called Protector of the one people. Now, I'm actually going to get Bob to read out. Have you got it in front of you, Bob, the one for Protector of the one people? You're muted, Bob. Hello.
Yes, I am.
Have you got the oath and bond for the Protector of the one people? Because what I'd like you to do is actually read it out, and then I'll just make a couple of comments.
Okay. Yeah, hold on a second.
Okay.
Let me pull it up. You did put it in the chat there.
I did.
Hold on, it's coming up now.
Who worked to who are the creators of the Oath and Bond document, Chris, other than yourself?
Well, basically me. Ken and Scott helped me correct various aspects of grammar and choose a few words here and there, as they usually do, and they're really good at that. But essentially it's me.
All right.
So Bob.
I got it.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay.
Protector of the one people. Oath and bond. Lovingly, knowingly, willingly, and intentionally made as a matter of absolute record as follows. The Creator is all that is, eternal essence, absolute. Earth Gaia is eternal essence embodied, without limits. All people of Earth are one and are eternal essence embodied, without limits. We are the one people and are co-custodians and stewards of Earth, our home. I, whomever, of wherever, am eternal essence embodied without limits of the one people of Earth. By my free will choice, acting in full responsibility, liability, and transparency, my value protected, insured, and guaranteed through the universal value exchange, I voluntarily bond my being by oath that I be protector of the one people, protector of Earth, that I do uphold the universal law of the Creator, that all actions are permissible without limits except abrogation of free will choice of another embodiment of eternal essence. Establish, maintain, serve, and protect absolute and eternal peace on Earth, the right of free will choice, the equity and the abundance of the one people through the universal value exchange and CVAC systems of assistance by execution of Military Order UCC 2012-096-074, and as expressed by the consensus will of the one people in future moments of now, that I am protecting with and by my being eternal essence without limits, doing always for the greater good of the one people and the Earth, serving in this and all moments of now henceforth for 90 days provisionally renewed 3 times, or by alternate mutual agreement with the steward of CVAC systems of assistance. Signed, dated, done.
Outstanding, Bob. Thank you. Okay. This particular oath, this is the military oath. The military order requires volunteers, and it's a completely free will choice. We know that a lot of people in the military are watching us very closely, and we thank them for that, and literally put you guys on notice that this is here and available, or it will be in a couple of hours' time. We've just got a couple of details to check on the page of the OPPT site before it goes live. And at some future point, we hope that you guys will be in a position to actually use this. Because ultimately, the big shift that we're all looking for has to be in part closing down quite significant aspects of the old system, and that needs some boots on the ground at some point. And we know that a lot of people in the military have become aware they're working for a corporation. They're guarding poppy fields in Afghanistan. They're attacking innocent civilians, at times, and they're put into really, really dreadful positions and forced to do some really, really outrageous things that they know that they shouldn't be doing, and they would rather be fulfilling their oath by doing what's described in this document. And we'll just put that energy out there, and no doubt it will be returned. The other document is actually for it's almost identical. We don't need to read it all, but it's for a person who wishes to volunteer for service to the One People. That will come over the following months and years, and it's if you feel strongly enough to actually record a bond and oath on this document, again, completely a free will choice. This is you as an individual. You're not putting your children into slavery by signing this, so don't be running off at any other little dramas and soap operas, though no doubt they will try. But all they have to do is read this document, and there's really nothing in here to attack. It's not a document that locks you into a lifetime anything. As you can see, it's actually provisionally it's 1 year, and completely free will choice as to whether you renew it, and it's simply an oath of service to us, to essentially the world that we're moving into is going to be created by us. Okay, there's no one else here but us. We gave our power away to the old system, as we've learned time and time again, and this is one of the mechanisms for reversing it and bringing us to the fore instead of the system that's just gone crazy and is treading on people like Ben, who phoned in before. And I know Ben would appreciate what's in here. So it's going to be out there in a few hours, and if you feel strongly enough to register yourself, there'll be some instructions on how to go about that. Now, one of the things is who do you send it to? I'm hoping we can set up an upload facility and just upload a scan of it, because it does require your signature. So you may in fact have to even fax it at some point. But at the moment, if depending on the facilities we can set up over the next day or so. So be patient if it doesn't appear immediately, because we're still kind of working out exactly how we want to manage it. But we may end up on the website initially just having you email it to an email address. So just read the instructions. It's something that only takes a minute to fill in. And thank you for listening. We'll be talking about this a bit next week, because this audience is touch different to the OPPT show, which maybe we should change to the One People.
We do need to change the name of that show.
By the way, the document, beautiful words, beautifully written. I just want to make sure everybody understands, since people are going to come, they're going to, say, oh, the One People of Public Trust are trying to get us to sign documents. Now, read it. If it resonates with you, feel free to sign it. No one needs to sign anything. You don't need to sign it to be put on a list for some prosperity package or anything of that nature. So read it, and if it resonates with you, then you can sign it and share it. But if you read it, then you'll see exactly, and you can read it with your heart instead of your mind. You can see the intent and purpose of it, and it's beautiful. I've read it now 2 times, and Chris did a wonderful job with it. So kudos to you, my man. Excellent.
Another clarification that needs to be made. This is not being put out by OPPT, as in the One People's Public Trust. This is being put out by one of the people, and this is one of the people's, in this case Chris's, doing and being. And this is for all the other people to have a look at, to reflect upon, to even suggest, are you open to, amendments, Chris?
Look, absolutely. If there is anything in there that bothers anybody, happy to correct it. I'm not emotionally attached to exactly the way this appears. What we're trying to effect is working together, to build something new and committing to it by saying, yes, this is what I want. And that's the energy that we've created through this whole movement, and we just need now to bring that into reality. And this is the people who've been supporting it by listening and by talking and by spreading, now coming forward and saying, yes, I want to make this real. That is the only intention behind it.
Cool.
Lovely. Thank you. Bob, we talked about doing a meditation towards the end of the show. How much time do you want for that?
About 5 to 7 minutes.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, well, we will take another couple of calls. We've got area code 831.
Hello, greetings.
Hello. What was your name?
This is Lucklight.
Ah, Lucklight.
Hello.
How you doing?
We were talking about the Sirius movie earlier, and I was looking over the website, and I have technology in my possession that I haven't built yet, but I'm non-linear, so I basically built it in the future, but I have the blueprints and the concept right now. So if anyone would like, I could spill the beans on it right here, right now.
If you wish.
Okay, basically...
Spill away.
Yeah, there's a couple things they don't want us to know, one of which is that these huge power plants, what happens is they're generating all electricity because 80% of it is lost in the transfer, right? So number one, you want to localize your power. You need a lot less in that situation. Let's see. Okay, so basically it boils down to spin. You have these turbines, like wind power, for example, right? You want that spin, and that spin I create through two technologies that I found online that I can consult on, but I can't directly give away because of their conditions to sell that information. But now also there's a steam-powered motor that's designed to run constantly, and that technology is already available. So I've been working on this for a couple of years now. I haven't put it together, but I can build a combination of these three technologies, one of which is a fuelless heater. The other one is a magnetic motor. And these three items work together in terms of the fuelless heater produces heat as well as steam. The steam runs the steam-powered motor, and the motor gives the whole device the torque to keep the magnetic motor, which is basically a wheel of high-powered magnets within a series of coils. And now the trick that I add to the situation is that you place these magnets in a phi ratio in a circular pattern. So as you're increasing the RPMs, it's basically exponentially accelerating the pulse. And so that's how you're getting exponentially, acceleration without, having the whole thing blow up. So the mechanisms within the three-part item, the resistance involved is going to keep it from blowing up because while the impulse is exponential, the resistance of the physical parts won't let it go too far. So that's part of it. Also, and I got like a plan for other technologies that are available. You have like a propane powder generator, and then you have like these little tubes that are like electrolysis things. So you get like 10 of those in series, and you're producing 10 psi, which is what will run a propane power generator. So you're essentially electrolyzing water in order to get Brown's gas. So that one I can put together for like less than $3,000 US dollars, and the first one I can put together for less than $5,000 US dollars. So that's the big part of what I wanted to get across.
Have you got a presence anywhere online where you've put out that you're looking for funding, or?
No. My public profile is Lucklight on Facebook.
Are you actually in planning on making some prototypes, Lucklight?
Well, yeah. The thing is, like I figure if I make it miniature, that it's probably costing more to get miniature parts than it is to build the full size thing. But
well, it's quite often.
Yeah,
quite often prototypes are big clunky things, and the real things are miniaturized once the principle's proven. But what you're talking about, there's the most incredible 100th monkey syndrome going on across the planet at the moment, where concepts like the ones you've just expressed are springing out of people's minds, unlooked for, at a huge rate of knots, and it's been building for years. And this began probably with Tesla or earlier in terms of this kind of technology. There are so many people who have devices of all different types out there who are either in a late prototype stage or ready to manufacture. It is just, I was going to say ridiculous. Well, not ridiculous. It's absolutely fantastic.
Guys, I just got a message from someone on Skype saying they will fund your 3K project.
Excellent.
There you go.
I'll have it
crowdsourcing
by next week.
Are we connected on Skype, Lucklight? Lucklight, are we connected on Skype?
I have trouble with my internet connection, so I don't use Skype.
What about Facebook? We are there, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm there.
Can you message me with a contact for you, an email or a phone number?
Oh yeah, sure.
Great.
Yep. There's a lot of folks that some of whom we've come into contact with who are just waiting for that moment when things start to shift, because that's the moment where it becomes much physically and personally safer for them to put this technology out publicly. And we're seeing that with the Sirius project, where he's actually revealing the fact that he's building a lab for developing this kind of technology. Now, that's not a safe thing to do in the past, but we're approaching a time where it is. So if there's anyone out there who has technology and needs funding to get it to end prototype or to manufacturing, now is the time to start actually looking around you and seeing, because if anyone hasn't looked at it yet, the concept of crowdsourcing is quite stunning, and it's basically it's not, I wouldn't call it an auction, it's kind of a reverse auction. You put an idea out there and people commit money to it, and it's a matter of getting a lot of people committing a little bit. And there's even a website called Geek Funding, where you can get weird and wonderful geeky projects that, I don't know, maybe like a baseball cap with an extra fast propeller that spins round and round, and some very esoteric stuff. But if you haven't looked at it, have a look at crowdsourcing.
Yeah, that's a good idea. A couple of things. Dan Winter. I don't know if your panel is familiar.
Yep.
He's very tuned into what's going on with it, and also the cautionary things about these new technologies. Like we can hurt ourselves with the emanations of them. I mean, obviously we're already using technology, which is like the complete opposite of what we should be using. Another thing is the 60 hertz is very unhealthy for the human body. So that's something that he shared before. But it's primarily the belief. The belief that we can't do these things is what is in fact holding us back.
Absolutely.
And these guys that build these free energy devices, they achieve success because they have done it within themselves first. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, the interesting thing is that academic scientists talk about, he received this, had an inspiration about this particular formula or this particular device or whatever, and people, the backyard inventors and just very ordinary people who are just getting this information and creating things from it, it's all coming from the same place. You don't have to be an academic scientist to actually get this information and act on it. And what they probably don't realize is they're getting it from the same source as everybody else, which is the human collective. And to me, it's become really obvious that the human collective is bringing this to the fore at the moment, that a collective decision has been made in the background to actually make this the time when this technology appears because we're ready for it. And you're absolutely right. Anything that generates a lot of power, per se, electricity or heat, is dangerous. Those things can blow up. They can electrocute you. Because the electronic devices that are involved in this technology are high voltage, high frequency, and you don't want to screw around with that stuff. That'll fry your brain. So we do have to be very careful with it. But at the same time, it's a bit like the comments we were making before about how people aren't responding to fear porn. They're over it, and they're ready for not living that way. And the same with nuclear war. We're over that crap. North Korea, not going to happen. Not going to happen. Okay, all we have to do is keep that as our intention, and it'll unfold the way we want it to.
Right, and the most dangerous technology of all is the human being.
That's a really interesting one. Absolutely, because the other bit of information that's coming out is some really stunning information about not just about the fact that manifestation is possible, but we're starting to get more solid information on how it's done. Right, and we've talked about
the cabal sometimes, and how they've limited us. That's essentially one way to look at it.
They have the information on manifestation that we're now coming into possession of. They've always had it, and they've been using it against us.
And that's why they fear us.
And that's why they fear us, because they know as a collective, when we learn to manifest collectively, there is no way that anyone's ever going to do what they did to us ever again. It just can't happen.
So what we have to do is out-efficient them, which is very easy because we are operating basically at maximum inefficiency.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we are. Our petrochemical cars get about 20% efficiency. So again, plenty of room for improvement.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're hoping it'll be extremely quickly happening when it kicks in.
Okay, thank you very much. I love you guys.
It'll be exponential. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Well, how cool was that? I think he got a response within about 2 minutes.
That's crowdsourced. That's what it's like. I mean, I've got a friend who's actually funded a writing project that she would otherwise have great difficulty getting funding for. And really, it didn't take that long at all, because people are interested in her work and what she's doing. And it's a bit like, instead of writing a book and selling it through a bookshop, it's a bit like going to the same people who would buy it and saying, prepay me for the book, okay, and you'll get a free copy once I write it. That's how it works.
Well, look, we're going to do this meditation very shortly. I think we'll take one more call, and then we'll get on to that. People are keen. So area code 757.
Peace, love, and light. Peace, love, and light.
Peace, love, and light to you, brother.
How are you? Who's that?
This is Sovereign Light.
Oh, it's Sovereign Light. I thought it was Prince back again. I was like,
yeah, that's my brother. Prince, that's my brother. And you're my sister. Ryan,
absolutely.
That's my brother. Bob is my brother. Peace to all embodiments throughout all eternal essence universe.
We hear you.
Right back at you, Sovereign.
Yep.
The name of this show is perfect. I also want to say a special piece to Kiara and Tasha, because they're listening right now. And to everybody that's listening for their first time, I want them to check out the oppt site, formerly known as the opt-in site, and abreast yourself with the latest show on YouTube. Last night's show, the opt-in show, because it was a good recap of what's been going on. And the name Collective Imagination is really epic, because this is the collective, and this is our imagination. And if you know what the imagination is, you know that it's what truly creates when you imagine. So we speaking on the Cabal and what they knew and what they always knew. Well, we always knew it too, but we always doubted ourselves. This age, this Aquarian age, the law of one, we have the I document. And that's also that one I that you're supposed to open when you close those two eyes that Prince was talking about. And when you see through this one eye, you see that you are truly one with every other embodiment that is out there. No one is more special than any other one, you know? And when you realize that, first of all, let me do my claim, because it's not a disclaimer. It's a claim. I am, you know? And when you say I am, you realize that you get that quiet for that moment. And you realize that, wow. And then you begin to experience yourself. And that's what that next person is across from you, an experiencing of yourself. And when you realize that, you don't look at that person in a negative way anymore because you see yourself. You begin to understand that this is what the universe is. It's an experience of itself.
We love you, man. Thank you for all the support, man.
All right. Peace, love, and light.
Okay, guys. Let's get into this meditation. Right. How you feeling, Bobby?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Which soundtrack would you like to do this to?
Let's use the Hemi-Sync one.
Okay, Journey into Frequency. Alrighty. Okay.
Folks, I just had a message from Caleb. Dropped it on my chat here that he says he'll find the 3K.
That's the person who messaged me.
There you go.
Yep, and he also said the Project 13 is very close to launching. So I know that's not the word is already out there that he's been working on it. So I know it's not. He's okay with people knowing that it's coming. I'm looking at a couple of pictures that he sent me right now, and it looks pretty badass. So keep doing your thing, Caleb. Get back to work. Stop listening to these radio shows.
Oh, okay. All right, everybody get comfortable. Yes, go for it, Bob.
Before we start the meditation, I just wanted to read the poem that I wrote because it goes along with what Sovereign Lion was saying.
Oh, yeah,
and,
nice.
I wrote a poem basically describing who am I, and it's called Who Am I? And there's... Wait, hold on, let me pull it up, because I don't even remember it myself. Sovereign Lion, this is for you. This is who I am. Spark up the bowl and watch me flow. I am at 0 point. I am the one I've just begun, so spark another joint. I am the wisdom of the ancients. I am heaven sent. I am the passion of the essence. I am the evidence. I harness power from the flower. I am oracle. I am the whisper in the wind, and I am powerful. I am the spirit. I let you hear it. I am resolute. I bring the fraction into oneness. I am the absolute. I am the vision. I am rhythm. I am confidence. I am the voice within the heart. I am intelligence. I let you be. I make you see. Remove complexity. I am the answer to the question. I am unity. I am the feeling. I am reeling. I am what you see. I am the truth. I am the proof. I dream reality. I am not this, I am not that, I am the seen unseen. I am not left, I am not right, I am the in-between. I am the coming of the dawn, I am the Father Son. I am the ending of the war, I am the one who won. I have no fear, I am not here, I am in paradise. I am with you, I know it's true, just open up your eyes. I keep on track, I don't look back across the road I trod. I cannot die, I don't care why, I know that I am God.
That was awesome.
Absolutely frickin' awesome.
Wow.
Apparently they've lost us in the chat room though, or on BTR.
Yeah, BTR looks like it's trying to redial.
Well, it'll be on the recording, but yeah, it looks like everybody is offline right now.
Actually, BTR just dropped.
Yeah. anyone read the chat still? They're getting the messages?
Yeah.
Okay, just tell them we're doing the meditation and to join in by listening to the show afterwards, because it doesn't matter when they join in. If they join in, doesn't matter if it's 2 weeks from now. If they join in, the energy ends up in the same place.
Okay.
And I'm just going to say my goodbyes now. So goodbye to everybody.
Yes.
We'll go out.
Bye, everybody.
If you can hear us, we love you. Goodbye.
We love you all. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
How about
I'm gonna play the music on my screen. Maybe you'll hear it or not. I don't know. But here we go. Find a comfortable spot. Relax. Whether you be in your chair or on your couch, close your eyes and breathe. As you breathe, I want you to imagine your body is absorbing the energy around you, and that your heart is pumping energy out of you. And those two energies are merging inside. As you slowly breathe, I want you to feel relaxed. Feel the relaxation moving through your body, relaxing every muscle and tension of the day, every care and every want. And as you sink into your chair or into your space, I want you to move within. Find the spot inside your heart, the pulse of burning blue light. This flame, this blue flame that burns inside you, this is the flame of truth. It burns away all that is not essential, all that is irrelevant, all that is false. It burns away the identity of your name, the identity of the roles that you have played. It burns away all of the non-essential and leaves only eternal essence. As all of the layers
reconnecting you now.
Are stripping away from you now, all of the roles are stripping away, you find yourself basked in truth, transparency, and love. As that flame is burning through your being, it is emanating out, and it is igniting all that is not true and all that is not eternal essence is being burnt away as that energy emanates out from you. It is connecting with all the other blue flames around the world and permeating the earth itself, so that all that is false, all that is non-essential, all that is irrelevant is being burned away, so that the truth of eternal essence can clearly be seen, shown, and felt within all beings, within all operations of the planet, within all outlets for information, including media, including television, including all of the things that are going on in this world. All that will be shown is transparent truth, absolute, eternal essence. And allow that fire to burn across the globe in its warm embrace. And allow the earth to become the beacon of light, of pure eternal essence forevermore. And allow that light to ignite the universe. Feel the growth, the expansion, the freedom of being yourselves, knowing the perfection of it, understanding the relevance of it, and basking in the joy of it. And so it has been decreed, and so it is. Forever now, and for all the nows to come, it is done. Okay, we can come back now.